Welcome to Us in My Life. Love you and cause I love you so much. Oh, 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 I just love you. I just like help. I just like help. I just like you too. I just like you. I just love you. Happy New Year! I love you, say goodbye to going to school, and that's okay. Yum, 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 yum. I just love you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. We just love that intro. And let's see here, make sure that we're on. But we love that intro, and that's Mary's child, and she's singing, and she just loves everyone. Okay, here we go. And I believe you can hear me. And my name is Rick Reese, with the Hope Collection. And Tuesday, Travel Tuesday, and we talk travel on today. And thank you for joining us. Travel smart, live well, and truly your guide to health and wealth. And that's what travel is all about, your guide to health and wealth. So we're going to discover today together the transformative power of travel. And we do this every Tuesday at 12 o'clock. And typically myself and Ron Claydon, Ron and Linda are down vacationing in Daytona Beach, having a good old time. But we thank you for joining us for this live talk radio show as we delve in how travel can enhance your health, save your money, and even become a lucrative career. This has been my career for quite some time, full-time since 2005. And this is what my wife and this is what we do. So what you can expect when you join us on Travel Tuesdays, health and wellness, you can learn all about how traveling can improve your mental and physical well-being, money-saving tips, get savvy advice on how to travel the world without breaking the bank. Everybody wants to know, how do I travel the world without breaking the bank? And then being able to earn money. This is actually a living. And so being able to earn money and to discover the opportunities that are available if you want to become a travel agent as a career opportunity where you can earn money while exploring new destinations. Or we've got a product called the Vortex, the free customer booking link. Give it out to customers. Don't go to Expedia. Come here. They can book. When they book, they save. You earn when they save. And so we've got some great opportunities here. If you just want to travel the world, you can travel the world wholesale instead of retail through Surge 365. And so we thank you for joining us. We thank you for the callers, for calling in. We are going to have a great time. Again, Ron and Linda are down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Having a ton of fun. And they're using a program within Surge 365 called Rewards Trip. And the Reward Trip, the Surge 365 Reward Trip, is an industry first. Well, what's the Reward Trip program? That's when you've been a member of Surge 365 for 12 months and have paid the membership consecutively for 12 months. you get a vacation reward that includes up to 7 nights, hotel accommodations, over 3,000 locations to choose from around the world. And you go, you don't have to pay anything, and you stay. And you have a great old time. And that's what Brenda and I did. We actually went to a vacation stay down in Florida, Boca Raton, and just had a wonderful time using the reward trip for the hotel accommodations and using our reward credits to actually rent a car. When we landed at the airport down in Miami, we rented a car, and we paid for it with reward credits that are accumulated through the program. And so we spent just a little bit on this incredible vacation. And we have about 5 saved up. You get one every year. Now they've changed it to when you first come on board, for your first year you get one. But we have about 5 of these saved up. And so we used one to go to a ski resort. And so we were there at a ski resort and in Colorado, and we just had an incredible time. 7-day vacation stay, and of course we were able to go to all the different wonderful things to do in the Colorado ski resort around that surrounding area. They had hot springs and all kinds of different things. Food galore. We travel for food, but food galore, and just an incredible time. But when you come on board in Surge 365, this is one of the bennies. The reward trip is one of the bennies that you look forward to. Now, it saved us, I'd say, maybe $1,500, that we would have had to spend, but we did not have to spend. So Ron and Linda are down there having a good old time, and so keep them in your prayers. And it's just amazing opportunity in Surge 365. One of the things I wanted to talk about, we've got Mary Stanley, and she has two children that neurodiverse, having autism, and she has been doing an incredible job, raising them, and she's been using some techniques that I'll tell you that the world is starting to understand, and she's well sought after to explain what she's doing and how she's raising her kids and how she's actually providing consulting services. But being in travel, we talked about neurodiversity travel, and I want to just talk briefly about neurodiversity travel. What is it? Neurodiversity travel refers to travel experiences, and we've got some callers. You're welcome to chime in at any time, especially just to let me know that I'm being heard. I don't know, but we're just talking. But neurodiversity travel refers to travel experiences and accommodations designed to cater to the needs of neurodivergent individuals and families. In fact, could someone chime in to make sure that I am being heard? Hopefully I am being heard here. I am going through a different device, and I just want to make sure. Can you hear me? Check, mic check. Anyone that is on the line, can you hear me? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Check, mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You heard me before?
I can now.
Okay.
This country boy.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Were you hearing me before?
Yes.
You did hear me before when I was talking?
Yes.
Okay, so I just unmuted your mic. Okay, fantastic. Always good to know. Always.
Are you live or are you Memorex?
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about and that I started talking about was neurodiversity travel, and which is huge. It's huge as an incredible opportunity, and as a service that we can provide to a community that wasn't being, I think, taken care of before. More so than ever before now, it's becoming apparent. But as I mentioned, neurodiversity travel refers to travel experiences and accommodations designed to cater to the needs of neurodivergent individuals and families. And you know what's most interesting is that even though it existed, people were not aware. And I know people on this call have seen where you would be somewhere and you would see people acting within your mind different, strange. And some people would turn their nose up at them or whatever, get impatient with them, and not understanding, neurodiversity.
Or get frustrated in the middle of the night when you hear a thud, 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 thud.
Or get frustrated. And welcome to the show, Mary. And they're not aware. They're not aware. Mary talks about an experience I had at a hotel, about a few months ago. And the people above us, all we heard was that. We're talking 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, somebody running upstairs above us. And we're like, at first, Mary, before I remember, can somebody control that kid? Right? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Why are you letting them run through the room back and forth, 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 back and forth? And we didn't call in because, Mary, I remembered, you have taught us about neurodiversity. And I spoke to Mary, and I told her the situation after the fact. And she says, my son is doing that now. And I went, wow. I'm glad that I did not call in to report it. Well, what is neurodiversity? Who does it encompass? Autism spectrum, attention deficit hyperactivity, dyslexia, PTS, post-traumatic stress, Tourette syndrome, and a few other things.
Traumatic brain injuries?
Traumatic brain injuries. Mary, I got to ask you, why are we seeing it more prevalent nowadays? And it's always been around.
The big reason why it's more prevalent is the fact they've been coming out with a lot of new cutting-edge research. Science is finally backing theories that have been there for a while. So now they have early detection, and they can tell when they're younger. But also, and what people don't realize is one of the things also why it's so, the cases seem to go up, right? Well, I work with a lot of adults who have recently been diagnosed. And now for them, they're not getting the diagnosis because they're looking for an excuse. It's that missing puzzle. It's like, aha, this understands why I had this issue in school. Aha, this is why I have problems with that. It's putting those pieces together. So you have people in their 30s and 40s that have had issues their whole life just in socialization skills and not quite figuring out how to communicate properly. And it's like, oh, I'm not dumb. I have this issue. Now it's that missing piece. And, a lot of different factors come into play, but what they have done is instead of it being Asperger's or this, and this, it's on a scale. So you have different things like nonverbal disorder where they just don't talk or can't talk. and all these other factors that fit into it, so varying degrees. Yes, some kids are little turds that just need to learn discipline, are being diagnosed, and that's going to be the good and the bad. But there's a new article that just came out that shows that they can actually genetically tell different issues with the brain and help them to actually learn according to how their brain is wired to teach them to overcome all those issues. You know, the misconception with neurodiversity, especially autism, is it's not a disorder that needs to be cured. It is an issue and that they need help to thrive, not survive. It's about helping them learn how to learn that works for them.
Help them thrive, not just survive. Wow, that's those are powerful words. Thrive, not just survive. We all know adults that are a little different, right? We all do. We never know or knew what the issue was, but we all have seen people in our lives that were a little bit different. I'm not talking where it's noticeable, you know, but just slightly different. We've all seen that. And many adults don't even know why they are the way they are, why they do the things they do, why they think the way they think. And I think with this becoming more, the education piece becoming more prevalent, I can guarantee you a lot of adults are going to be looking back and saying, okay, that's it. I need to thrive, not just survive. And Mary, you had sent an article that was talking about the percentage of neurodiverse folks in the military. But they've got to keep it undercover. They can't tell anyone. You know, otherwise they get put in a category. You know, it's a kind of a shame even to go to see a psychologist in the military and on different jobs, but, you know, looking at the military. And it was really interesting in that article where it was talking about neurodiverse folks excel in combat because they can focus. And they don't have to worry about being, you know, discovered, but they have a different level of focus and ability to accomplish missions, and in many cases, just a higher mental awareness. You know, where they actually are in their element. You know, from the military perspective, in combat, versus coming back and being around people. You know. And where they're looked down upon or they're looked at being different. Isn't that, man, to live in that dual world wraps your mind. It's sad. It's sad.
That's part of why they're trying to, instead of autism, ADHD, it's now neurodiversity, and the goal is to educate the masses, to make it more acceptable instead of them having to be normal. It's about them being them. And what's really cool, and with what I've been studying for years now, and from my own personal experience with my kids and with me, is that the way an autism individual thinks, how their brain is wired, naturally is parallel to a soldier's and how we think.
And that is?
Which is why, one, is the parallel thinking in the sense that you're always getting the room. You're always in that sense of aware. They're the same way. They're absorbing everything constantly around them, but how they solve problems, and that you get that tunnel focus on particular issues or particular things. But also, that's part of the reason why in the military world, autism is not being diagnosed like it should in kids, because a lot of parents don't notice the things as much, because it's like, and I was the same way with my kid. You know, mine was 6 months old, wanting up stuff, you know, straight lines, patterns, organization. I was like, oh, great. He thinks like me. This makes my life so much easier because he's going to be neat and organized. Because his sister was a terror and just chaos. And still is to this day. She's creative. We use that term.
As a veteran in the military, we get promoted based on what you're saying.
Yeah.
We get those are the key features to get promoted, the key checkpoints to get promoted. Awareness, excelling in combat, being courageous, being able to focus,
think 5 steps ahead.
Being able to think playing chess versus checkers. That's how we get promoted in the military. That's probably how you get promoted in the business world. And like you said, the majority of folks who are the writers in Hollywood have some form of neurodiversity.
Writers, actors, a lot of our or not big famous actors, but a lot of our middle roles are done by autism individuals. And the sad part is the reason why is because they are taught their whole life how to fit in, how to play a part. It's how to say the right thing, do the right thing, be the right thing. And that's the way society lives with treating these kids. And so for them, that natural step is Hollywood because they can go play a role. And they can, memorize that script in an instant, turn around, regurgitate it back out, do it exactly how it needs to be done, and then walk away, they're done.
Amazing. Because there is a higher level of intelligence. Not to be generalized, but it's a different way of thinking. And like you're saying, to memorize that's the entire book, script. And, I'm a little different. I think everybody on this call is a little different. What is your superpower? What is your superpower? And see, that's how we have to look at things nowadays, that everybody has a superpower that they shift into that has some benefit and value to society versus the differences. To thrive, not put someone in a box to survive, but to thrive. Because everyone has something. And I believe as we help people to become aware of that superpower that they have, regardless of all the other stuff, that they can build a sense of self-confidence, build a sense of value and worth. That I think that it's important. And if we can do that, the earlier in the age that we can do that, like your kids, you've been teaching them this for quite some time. And so they're gonna transition. Of course, you got struggles, but they're going to transition into teenage adult with an understanding, based on the things that you're doing. By the way, Mary Stanley, and she changed the name of her company, but she is a cognitive behavior therapy specialist, and she's created autism programs for schools. Has been consulting globally, with different cultures around the world, and teaching neurodiversity, trauma specialist, support services, military veteran, working with people that soldiers that have PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, and just doing a number of things. And so she's taken that skill set and saying, how can I apply this, Travel Tuesday, how can I apply this knowledge base to an area that is quite often overlooked, and that's travel. How can I apply to make the industry aware of how to meet the needs of this specific market, neurodiverse market, And then to make the people aware, man, Mary, that it's okay to travel, that it's okay to be seen, that it's okay. And whether as individuals, families, or groups, neurodiversity inclusivity is a big deal in travel. And one of the things that I'm proud of you, Mary, for is that, you know, taking that stand to make sure that these needs are being met. And that's a big deal. You know, success is about being able to identify opportunity. And this is an opportunity. And one of the things on Travel Tuesday, of course, you know, Surge is a tool that can be used for someone who has a leaning toward this, you know. And that's what's so cool about Ron and Linda. You know, they're using Surge 365, the travel business, as a tool, you know, to be a travel agent, to have access to a travel agency, to have access to the travel training. You know, of course, he's using the product down in Daytona Beach, you know, the 7-day vacation stay. But being able to recognize...
developing a checklist, families or agents to use to make sure that all the needs of those individuals are being met prior to leaving. You know, simple things that a lot of people won't think about. You know, smells, sounds, lights. Having the hotel room on the bottom floor. We actually have special rooms designed for neurodivergent families. We're going on a cruise with the Hope Collection, and so we are, on the bottom of the ship. It's down on the bottom by itself with no windows, so we can control that whole atmosphere the whole time.
That's huge. The travel opportunity in neurodiversity. And we have worked on a presentation. Here's some of the items that we identified in neurodiversity travel. You may be a listener saying, okay, hey, you know what, that may be something I can use either personally for my family, or, you know, I can reach out to other people as a career. This is my career where, you know, I'm focusing. I'm a neurodiversity travel specialist. That's a career opportunity. And so with Surge 365, giving you access to the travel industry and to travel vendors and the travel training and all the different things, everything concerning travel, a person can very easily say, I want that to be my niche. I want that to be my area of expertise as a specialist. And they can learn it. They can train it. They can teach it. You know. And one of the things we're looking at, neurodiversity inclusivity, the career opportunities in hospitality and tourism for diverse minds as a neurodiversity travel specialist. There aren't very many. In fact, I'm not sure if that's even declared as a specialist, but a person can create that. A person can become that. That's what I'm doing with the travel business. You know, I'm saying, okay, this is how I'm going to use this tool. Planning, booking, diversity, travel, and groups. Talking about neurodiversity travel opportunity. And this is what Mary does. Neurodivergent travel inspection and consultation. Being able to help the industry, bringing information and consultation skills to the industry to design to accommodate sensory needs of neurodiverse individuals. Being able to understand it to the point where I can go into a hotel, just like they did before they start recognizing, you know, handicap accessibility. And to go into the hotel and say, hey, we need to take this one step further. You're doing great with accessibility, but now you need to understand neurodiversity and sensory needs and design, with that in mind. And I'm here to help you. Why? Because I'm certified and in personal experience, along with my certification in neurodiversity travel. Everything is a creation. Anything in life began in someone's mind and was created, and then rejected most likely, and then accepted. That's just how things are. People are waiting for something to happen that never will happen because they are the ignition. They are the starting point for it. The world is waiting on you to provide what you have in your mind, in your thoughts, in your imagination. Albert Einstein says imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. What is the world waiting on for you? Neurodiversity travel. Mary put together a checklist. And for travel agents or pre-travel preparation planning. First, understanding specific needs, preferred accommodations, doing your research out there and finding, who has a clue? Which of these vendors, which of the hotels have a clue? Patient arrangements, destination selection. Which of these vendors have a clue? These hotels, these resorts. Mary mentioned Carnival Cruise. I mean, they're one of the first cruise lines to understand and to accommodate the diverse needs, supporting sensory type needs, and the different things that they provide, and the understanding that they have when you check in. Identifying yourself, they already got you covered. Okay, yeah, we know you're in this room, da-da-da-da. We have these services. We have the child care, destination selection, communication preferences, talking about an neurodiversity travel, pre-travel preparation checklist. If you say, I want to become a travel agent, and I want to be able to set up accommodations and trips and for this group, this specific, unique, special group. Communication preferences. Emergency planning. Mary tells the story. So Mary takes her child and 2 kids and however many other kids from Minnesota to Buffalo, New York. We had a memorial event in Buffalo, New York, where they planted flags and did some really awesome things. And Mary had an experience at the hotel in Buffalo with her son. But because of emergency planning, what did you do, Mary? She may have had to jump off. So what happened is Mary, when she got to Buffalo, she made sure that the police were aware, the hotel was aware, that we have 2 children with autism. And so just in case anything happens, well, she woke up and her son was gone. And she was wondering, well, where did he go? So because she had done all this pre-planning, the cops were Johnny on the spot. Boom, they were there. The hotel was Johnny on the spot. They were checking video. They were doing all of this, looking and searching and going out, and all of this happened because of her pre-preparation. Turns out that her son was in between his sister's legs in a little ball after they went through all of this stuff. But, they were ready. They were out there. But after they went through all of this stuff, they found him under the cover between his sister's leg. You couldn't even tell that he was there because he was in a little ball between her legs, and the covers was over them. But because of that emergency pre-planning, they were there. Packing essentials. What do you need to pack to take them on a trip, to prepare for this trip? Preparing for transitions and going different places and being able to get from here to there. And, am I using a van? Am I using a taxi? Am I using an Uber? What am I using? Accessibility. This is a checklist. if you say this is an area that I want to specialize in, this is a checklist you can use. If you're working with a client, accessibility considerations, follow-up support. Mary also put together a something very, very unique, because people with autism, children in particular with autism, many times are visual. So she created a digital communication board, and where it talks about what are we going to be doing, where you can show, and she's made cards up, what are we going to go to the airport, picture of the airport, go to the check-in, picture of the check-in counter, go through security, going through this, that's a big deal. Why are we going through this security? But being able to see that ahead of time so that when it happens, they're there. Boarding the plane, visually taking someone, adults need this really, or someone who hasn't traveled before, taking them through an experience, a digital communication board, boarding the plane, putting your seatbelt on, taking off, the plane flying and looking out the window and looking down. Country Boy reminds me of when we did the educational program for the foster kids, and we took them on a visual trip and asked them, we had about, 30, 40 kids sitting down. Everybody was saying these kids are, attention deficit disorders, and writing them off. And we was talking to these foster kids about travel, and with the idea that instead of these kids aging out of the foster care program, teaching them a skill set to become, a travel professional, some being travel agents, and taking the free specialist travel training, and opening that up to them. If you want to be a SeaWorld specialist, and allowing them to take that training. And, of course, taking preparatory training leading up to, not just thrusting them into advanced training, but walking them up to it and putting together a training plan for each of these kids, that started off with the basics of travel, and then leading them up to, would you like to be a Disney travel agent, a Hyatt, a Hawaii destination specialist? You want to be a wedding specialist, wedding destination specialist. And so the whole idea in talking to these foster kids in this foster home, we had about 30, 40 kids. And they said these kids couldn't sit at any one time for any length of time. And we started talking to them about travel and the opportunities to travel. And just like this digital communication board, we took them on a trip, and they were in Atlanta. We took them on a trip to Washington, D.C., to the Washington Zoo, the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. And this was all visual. We didn't actually take them, but we walked them through visually, jumping into a van, and you could hear a pin drop. Of these 30, 40 kids, we had their total attention. And this is how you really teach kids, with something exciting, not boring. And we got them in a van. This is all visual. And they got in the van, and they're sitting there, and they got their mouth wide open, right? And we're on our way to the airport. And so we get to the airport, and we start loading the plane, getting on the plane. And I asked them, has anyone flown before? Raise your hand. A few raised their hand. Is anyone afraid to fly? A few raised their hand. Who doesn't want to sit near the window? A few raised their hand. And we're on the plane. And we talk about the stewardess asking, what would you like to drink? What would you like to drink? Want some crackers? Want some pretzels? They're sitting there in the room. And because of this digital communication, and being able to visualize. And so we get on the plane, and one of the things and we were presenting travel and the travel program to schools, because once you have their attention, you can teach them anything. And so we were talking about how high the plane is flying, how fast, so a science teacher can introduce whatever. A math teacher can introduce whatever. A social studies teacher can introduce whatever. Based on this trip, a teacher could look at it and say, okay, based on us having 100% of their attention, we're going to teach them this, we're going to teach them this. And so we're flying, and then we land. Okay, get ready, we're landing in Washington, D.C. We land in Washington, D.C. They're sitting there like they're actually on the plane. They're actually landing. We land. Okay, let's get into the van. By the way, we booked the van and the flight through the travel business. We taught them how to book a flight, how to book a hotel, how to book a van, rent a car. And so we get in the van, and we're on our way to the zoo. On the way to the zoo, we're looking at the monuments. So we're teaching them the different monuments on the way to the zoo. The Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, Martin Luther King Memorial. There's the White House. There's the this. There's the that. And so we're teaching them the different monuments and landmarks in Washington, D.C. on the way to the zoo. We get to the zoo, and we go through the gate, and we have a picture. All the while, we have a slide presentation. They're actually seeing, the zoo. They're seeing the monuments. They're seeing all of that. Seeing the White House. So we get to the zoo, and so at the zoo, we say, okay, we need to make sure you guys know the different animals. And so we have the animals flashing up on the screen, chimpanzee, leopard. And when you see an animal, I need you to yell out the name of the animal. And so they're like, a tiger. The adults in the room were naming the names of the animals. Like, let the kids speak. The adults
that was the most
back.
memorable part. We had to tell the parents to put their hands down. Let the kids answer the question. I never will forget that, Rick. Go ahead, Rick.
Let the kids speak. The adults flashed back to their zoo experience. Let the kids speak. So, animal, giraffe, polar bear, no. And so we get through, and we had to hold the adults back because they were actually. And so after the animals, we said, okay, let's go around the room and tell us your zoo experience, your most memorable zoo experience. The adults were speaking. Hey, kids, we want to hear from the kids. And the kids start sharing something that has been impressed in them, ever since when they went to the zoo, and start pulling up all of these beautiful memories, beautiful stories, beautiful. I mean, you would have never remembered that they knew that because, of course, going through the foster care system and all the different traumatic experiences, this pulled out something, a gem from the inside of them that surfaced back to the top. A time when they were happy, a time when they were safe and comfortable, and it resurfaced that. Of course, we had to hold the adults back. And so they started going through, and we went through, and just a beautiful, beautiful time of sharing. These 40-some-odd kids sitting there the whole time. Instead of going to the pool, they say, hey, the pool, it's hot outside, play out. No, they were sitting there. You could drop a pin, listening to our every command. And so, once we finished the zoo experience, we reversed the trip. We got back into the van, going back and seeing the landmarks, back to the airport, boarded the plane, and we showed a map of the United States and D.C., and the plane followed an arc back to Atlanta, animation arc back to Atlanta. And they were like, oh, we got got to go back to reality. And so we land in Atlanta, and we're going and walking them through this. And again, a teacher can teach them anything because their imagination is open. You know, we've cracked the code, and the imagination is open. Talking about application of travel, it's not just a business. You have an idea. How can travel support that idea and make it fun? That's what this is. Neurodiversity travel. I'm talking about pictures. And so the plane takes off. By the way, when they got back to Atlanta, they were like, oh, man. And the saddest thing, right, country boy, they didn't do anything with what we taught them, the management.
Yeah, knowledge is power if you use it.
The most critical thing that we was teaching them with the tool travel is before these kids age out of the program and are thrust into society without a skill set, let's give them a skill set. Let's teach them something. You know, when they graduate or age out of these programs, if they've got and we put a travel training program in place, and we've been following them, 2 years, 3 years, teaching them, mentoring them, how to be comfortable in travel, as a career opportunity in hospitality and tourism. When they age out, they've got skills. When they take these travel training programs, whether them or you as an adult, you get a certificate. You get a certificate that you are a Disney specialist, that you are a Hyatt specialist, that you are a Marriott specialist. Imagine that doing that for the diverse community, neurodiverse community, where they actually have a skill set. You have a certificate in special needs travel, Hawaii specialist, England specialist, France specialist, Atlanta specialist, and we could put together the plan was to put together a portfolio for these kids, for these foster care kids that follow them, track them, and when they graduate, when they age out, here's a portfolio that you are a luxury travel specialist, that you have these certificates, you partner with the industry, you understand. It's free training, right, for the kids, for you, for me. I've got so many special certifications. That has expanded my understanding and knowledge of the world. I'm an Amtrak specialist. But anyhow, if there is a hiring event at the Hyatt in Atlanta, I could take these kids, these foster care kids who have aged out and are now being introduced to society. I could take them with their portfolio to that job fair, to that hiring event, and they can get a job. They can get a job. When we talk travel on Tuesday, we're not just talking about traveling and having fun, even though that's what we do. We're talking about a tool for release from the society that would bind you, hold you down, make you go into debt for college, right? Make you spend 2 to 4 years, go back to. This is vocational training. Vocational training. And that's what we were doing with the foster kids. But getting back to Mary's ingenious digital communication, walking a person who is neurodiverse, autism, through the process where they can visualize it, on boarding the plane, taking off, the plane flying, the plane landing, having your passport checked, picking up your bags, and leaving the airport. I don't know if Mary is back on. She may have to jump off or something. But what this does, before they even go on the trip, neurodiverse, travelers, and if you are a travel agent, you would actually teach the parent, before they go on the trip. You would notify the staff. They would get priority seating. In fact, Southwest Airlines has a special needs program where they notify the staff. They notify the flight attendants. You get priority seating. You can order sensory kits. Who knew, right? Who knew? And you as a traveler, you say, okay, this isn't this. I feel it. I want to do it. Okay. Mary can help you. Mary, this is all her creation. She's taking her skill set and knowledges and has simply applied them to travel. Accessible travel certification training is the fastest growing segment in the travel industry. Think about it. All these baby boomers, right? They're going to be retiring. 40% of the baby boomers will retire with some form of disability. It's going to be a huge part of the market. 24 million disabled Americans would travel more if their needs were met. I'm a scoot-around specialist, which is an accessibility certification, where as a scoot-around specialist and a special needs travel specialist, I have access to the little motor scooters. So if my clients, if they need the motor scooters, I have access to rent that equipment for them and have it delivered to cruise ports around the world, different hotels, domestic and around the world. They'll deliver the equipment for the person to that destination. And there's a rental fee. It's an income for me. If you are doing an event, let's say a conference with the travel business, you need to book some rooms. I need to book 100 rooms. You can work with that venue, identify yourself as a travel agent, and they will block those rooms, and they will pay you the commission that you normally give away because you're in the travel business partnered with them. And so you do that on your registration for that event. You can put a block or a section if you need motor scooters, if you need wheelchairs, if you need oxygen, any of the special need type needs. Then check this box. Here's the price, the rental price. Put that on your application. Scoot Around or Special Needs at Sea will deliver that to that hotel, to that venue, for that client, for that person. And so now it becomes something that separates you as your business. You may be a company, you may be an individual, you may be a travel agent, but you have access, right, that your competitor, who's not in Surge 365, perhaps, doesn't have, where you can provide this as a service. That is so huge. And the training is online. Special needs travel certification training and having access worldwide to special needs equipment for purchase and for rental. Ladies and gentlemen, that's huge. And so as we wrap up this program, I'm going to open up lines here, see if anyone has any questions. We've got about 5 minutes left. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Hey, Rick, as a nana, a grandmother of a young child here, or Micah, who is absolutely living real time with what you're discussing today. This has been a rich conversation, and I have literally watched my daughter, who was sitting in a lot of these seats and had to walk that out because they are taking a group of the neurodivergent to a huge conference, and how many hotels they went through that could not serve them. And they finally found one that was a little ways out, but it was definitely the one that they needed for what they represented. And And just hearing a lot of this, I'm going to share. This recorded?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to be sharing more with her because she's in some high seats, and I don't know how much it will cost to bring Mary out here, but I would love to just bring Mary into our community because we were sent here from Germany on a different page with my daughter, who is also a Down syndrome, and this regional hospital is one of the largest capacities of serving that. And people come here. This is a regional hospital. They come here from all over the world. And so we know this walk that you're talking, this kid, and she took him because of what they were experiencing. He was a little kid, and it was such a huge it took everything we had, all three of us, because this child would have these outbursts, break a window. I mean, not little stuff, huge things. And you didn't understand what's going on. So we had to get in the mode of learning. What does he need? What's happening? And watching her actually walk that out. They have written programs, all kind of things are in place because of what these families are experiencing. And I believe this is going to be a great tool in the community. I see it. And I am going to share this in some of the community leadership meetings, even in the churches out here. And I want Mary to come and share what she has because this is so needed in so many levels. I appreciate Mary. I appreciate the call and this tool we have in our hand that can heal and touch so many lives in so many different levels of life. Thank you so much.
Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. That's a big deal. And man, this is vocational training and access. Anyone else? This is access. And one of the keys in life is being able to be aware of tools that give you access. You know, people will look at Surge 365 as a business, and it is a business, very lucrative business. I was looking at some of the bookings from our top 10 travel agents, which are in the millions. One person's like 2 million, 1 million. I'm like, what? 90 seconds. But it's in the millions, and that's a tool that they're using. The Vortex is a tool for customers to book travel, and of course, customers save. You earn 100% of what they save. You know, Ron's using the resort, the vacation getaway, 7-day free vacation. You know, you have the membership, travel wholesale instead of retail. So many tools. The 60-second countdown. But thank you for joining us today. And yes, Chantel, it is recorded, and I'll get you a copy, send you a copy of the recording or the link for the recording. And but thank you everyone for joining us today, Travel Tuesdays, and we have classes or different shows throughout the week. You know, definitely Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, you'll catch different shows, and Optimize My Life on Facebook is a site where you can go and learn about the different shows that we do. But thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. And God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Mary, thank you for all the things that you do. And you know you've got a great program. And I'll talk to her, Chantel, about getting her out to the great Northwest. God bless everybody.
Thank you.